As I have been talking quite a bit about just what you can expect from Legend Bay at Ohio State, another guy that is turning heads is wide receiver Chris Henry. And I think when we talk about Chris Henry, we need to talk about the wide receiving group that is ridiculous. So I want to talk about Chris Henry a little bit apart from preseason spring football and more about just what he could bring to what I think is going to be a really fun Ohio State offense to watch in 2026. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you are into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer questions, comments below. What do you think Chris Henry will do for yardage, for catches, and for TDs in 2026? Because it dawned on me just earlier today that the Buckeyes will have an opportunity to run Jeremiah Smith, Brandon Ennis, and Chris Henry at the same time with a quarterback in Julian Sayin that could be as lethal and as fun as any Ohio State offense that we've ever seen with Ryan Day. And to put this into perspective, Jeremiah Smith is the best football player in the country. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he can make every catch, and he is a nightmare to cover. Enter a 6'5", 230-pound wide receiver with the frame, the ability to be a bona fide X player on the perimeter, making those catches that move the sticks, in addition to a guy in Jeremiah Smith that can take the top off the defense anytime he wants. The concepts that you can run with this kind of a duo, to say nothing of what Brandon Ennis might be doing on the other side of the field, tickle me as a guy who loves to look at offenses and loves to look at play calls and find a mismatch and exploit the hell out of it. The scissors routes you can run, the out and ups, the double moves, the dagger concepts, like it's all there for you. You could generally just isolate one side of the football field if you're Julian Sayin and just throw it over there and probably win 9 out of 10 times because both of your wide receivers are going to be better than the cornerbacks they're facing. They just got that much more talent. And that's what Ohio State has done better than almost anybody in the Ryan Day era. They are so good at getting players that are just better than the guys across the line of scrimmage. You hear it's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's all the time. But when you look at the Buckeyes and you see the wide receiving core and you see the opposing secondary, it's really, really difficult to whiteboard a defense that doesn't have to compensate for the weaknesses of at least one, if not two players in the secondary all the time because of what these wide receivers can do to you. They can body you, they can block, they can outrun you. Their route running is precise and they work it. Now, this is really going to be, I think, a referendum on Cortez Hankton more than it is going to be a referendum on Chris Henry Jr. because Cortez Hankton is replacing Brian Hartline. And Brian Hartline's wide receiver resume is pristine, and it will remain pristine as long as he's associated with Ohio State, what he's done there. All he did was recruit the best and develop them into better. You can say that with Jeremiah Smith. You can say that with Marvin Harrison Jr. You can say that in Emeka Egbuka. You keep going. I realize that there are some people that don't want to give him credit for Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. Okay, sure. But they were the first two guys to go in the first round of the NFL draft since Anthony Gonzalez and Ted Ginn Jr. before them, and the wide receiving coach at the time is Brian Hartline. And it wasn't a fluke, right? Think about what Marvin Harrison Jr. did at Ohio State. Not even until he got to be the one, really. And when he was the one, he was the offense. Kyle McCord was basically throwing the ball to him if he was throwing the ball. That's just wild. And this is before you get Jeremiah Smith in there, right? And never mind what you're going to be able to do with Legend Bay and concepts, and Bo Jackson's going to be better in that year too. It's just much more fun. Now, are you going to have to get better at running the football? Yes. Are people going to try to take away your wide receivers by backing off the coverage? Absolutely. But as soon as they bite or you find them in man-to-man, you're going to have guys like Chris Henry Jr. who can make that play. Hey, it's been some time since I can remember a big, long wide receiver at Ohio State with these sorts of dimensions. But it also is a recent occurrence that Ohio State has become wide receiver U. Like, people forget, Ohio State run the football. That's what they did. That's before Ryan Day. You were running the football in the I formation, or you were running in basketball on grass with Urban Meyer. It's only here in like the last decade that we've seen the Buckeyes air the ball out. Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, right? CJ Stroud, Kyle McCord, Will Howard, and now to Julian saying, it's getting to be a lot more fun to watch them because they air the ball out. Now, they tried to go away from airing it out and trying to outscore people last year because they're trying to conserve the players for the long season, meaning play the least amount of football you can while getting to the playoffs, and that can work. But when you've got these kind of players, I think you're going to see more of what they did when Chip Kelly finally had his come to Jesus moment after the loss to Oregon. We're just going to throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith, and he got away from that against Michigan and went back to it against Oregon, and it works. So that's the starter right there for me. If I'm Arthur Smith, I know I want to run the football. I know that's what I'm brought in to do. But the guy that gets your offense up and going is 4. And if you could take a guy like Chris Henry Jr. and have him out there lying in wait, cancel Christmas. It's over. It feels like we're going to find out just how good this dude is much later than sooner, mostly because you're going to use every bit of Jeremiah Smith that you possibly can this final year. And Chris Henry is not supposed to be anything close to anything other than the 3 until next year, right? When he probably becomes the 1. But for now, I'd have to throw him out there. I'd have to see what he has, especially with Mylan Graham and Quincy Porter Jr. going to Notre Dame. I just got to know. And if it is something that we can build on, right? If it's a guy that can go for, let's say, 50 catches, 700 yards, 7 TDs, that's a solid true freshman year. And you're only built up for more. Now, I don't know that they're going to get that many snaps. And I don't even know that Chris Henry Jr. is going to have that kind of production. But the mere threat of him being on the football field is going to be enough. And that is going to be wildly fun to watch.